Do you actually have to be on cocaine to be on this podcast?
It's a great day to be a Wildcat!
Cocaine.
Durfee.
What's up, everybody? You are listening to yet another edition of Cocaine Willie, the official K-State representative on the College Huddle. I am your commissioner, Bob Trollsby. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, the good chef, Andre Napier, and Fireball Matt Marchesini, but they're not on this video. They're going to be on the next two videos and audio that I'm going to splice together for our weekly locks, this time for week 7. But before we get into the episode, we do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Auntie May's Parlor, located at 616 North 12th Street in the heart of Aggieville, in Manhattan, Kansas. Auntie May's, they've been in business for 51 years. It's an absolute must-visit destination in Aggieville. Game days, school nights, weeknights, what holidays, non-holidays, it doesn't matter. Just go to Auntie May's. It's the best damn bar in Aggieville. They're going to have outdoor seating soon. So you got to get down there. Also, check out their website. If you check out their website, go to events, you'll see a full list of their upcoming events. They've got Trivia Smackdown every Wednesday. They've got Nathan Page's Underground Guitar Pull on Thursday, October 9th. So as this episode drops, stop on by tonight. They're going to have Taylor Gregory with Jeffrey Fonesteel on Sunday, October 12th. And then Therapy is going to be on Tuesday, October 14th. So check out Auntie May's. Give them your business and tell them Cocaine Willie sent you if you're stopping by. So to recap last week, just so everybody's aware of the standings, where we are heading into week 7, capping off the week 6 locks, I went 3-2. Matt went 4-1, so he's atop the leaderboard yet again. And our good friend Chef is wearing the bag this week with an 0-5 week, the second 0-5 week that he has had so far this season. So things are not looking great for Chef. I'm at 500 on the season with a 15-15 overall record. Chef, I already said he's not looking good. He's at 11-19 overall on the season. And Matt is far and away in first place with a 20-10 overall record heading into week 7. I'm going to go ahead and fire off my week 7 locks, and we'll start, again, if you're familiar with this, if you're not familiar with this, whatever. If you're familiar with this, we do 3 Big 12 games, 1 national game, and 1 Sicko game every week. So all 3 of us will go through our picks, and I'm going to start in Manhattan on homecoming with TCU -1.5 at K-State. I just don't see it happening. I think TCU is a very, very good team. And despite K-State having some better effort in recent weeks, it appears that coaching seems to be the problem right now, and is not just a personnel not wanting to show up to the game's issue. I think the team's going to get up for this game. I don't think there's going to be any issue with motivation with homecoming and the crowd being maybe not the fever pitch we thought it would be last week, before the Baylor game, when we thought that would end up being kind of a fever pitch game. But I don't see it, man. I just don't see it. Moving on, BYU is a 1.5 point favorite at Arizona. I understand that this game is at Arizona, but BYU has proven that they have a very good defense, 2, a very weird quarterback with a very weird number who seems to be very good in Bear Bachmeier. And I just think they've got time on their side. They've proven now over the last few years that they're kind of a force to be reckoned with now that they've started to recruit at a Big 12 level and not this kind of weird independent pseudo P5 institution that they were prior to the realignment, the most recent round of realignment. So I like BYU in this one. I think Arizona proved against Iowa State that they're not that good. And what have they done lately? They beat K-State, which we're aware of, Who have they beaten in addition to that? They beat Oklahoma State. Okay, wow, big whoop. Home game against the worst team in the Big 12, 41-13. I think that they are going to drop this game against BYU. I think BYU is probably going to bring plenty of fans to Tucson as well. It may feel more like a neutral environment because we know how well Arizona can fill their stadium, regardless of whether their team is good and bad. So I'm going to take the Fighting Mormons in that one, -1.5. My third Big 12 game, we've got Iowa State only favored by 2.5 points on the road at Colorado. And Colorado's had a weird season where they're also 2-4, similar to K-State. And they will get out to a lead in basically all these games. They'll get out to a quick lead and then squander it and then kind of sort of fight their way back in the fourth quarter, but not nearly enough. It's just not going to be enough. And I wouldn't be surprised if this game plays out the same way. Colorado's home environment as of late has not been the most intimidating or daunting atmosphere. And I think Iowa State has the juice despite that horrible, pathetic effort they had against Cincinnati last week. So I'm going to take the Cyclones in the bounce back spot against the Colorado Buffaloes. My national game, I am looking at Red River Shootout. We're headed down to the Cotton Bowl. And John Mateer, I think, so I got a notification yesterday that John Mateer is going to do whatever he can to try to make it for that game. And he's questionable, apparently. So, I mean, he's questionable. This feels like gamesmanship. They're +2.5, at least when I was able to get this line. I got it on Tuesday. With the anticipation that we would be recording this episode and publishing it on Thursday, but recording it on Tuesday. I got a 2.5 point line on Oklahoma versus Texas. That line has since moved. It was at least 1.5 when I saw it most recently. Where is it at now? We see that game as it is now -1.5 Oklahoma. So I got lucky here. I would take OU in this one anyway, but having OU as a dog in this one, I'd be ridiculous not to take that. Sicko game. We're going to Eastern Michigan versus Northern Illinois. We have a Northern Illinois team who is on the season so far. Northern Illinois football. They are currently the 11th place team in the MAC. They are 1-4 overall on the season, and they are playing an Eastern Michigan squad who is 0-2 in MAC play and 1-5 overall. So this is truly a sicko game in the most integral way that it could possibly be a sicko game. I'm going to take, based on stats here, so through 4 games, Northern Illinois' quarterback has 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions for a whopping 376 yards. He has about as many passing yards as Jace Brown has receiving yards on the season, and that's split with multiple wide receivers. So that's kind of weird. And then you got Noah Kim for Eastern Michigan, who has basically 4x the amount of those yards in passing yards. I think he's at 1,300 yards. He's putting up like Josh Hoover numbers right now, passing the ball as far as yardage, not related to touchdowns. But I'm gonna take Eastern Michigan. They're dogs in this one, and I believe they're playing at home in this matchup. Yeah, they are playing at home in this matchup. So, I feel like this is a no-brainer, if we're being perfectly honest. So, yeah, give me Eastern Michigan over Northern Illinois and the Huskies. That's going to do it for my locks. I'm going to let the other guys get into their locks here in a moment. I do just want to quickly recap our player prophecies. My player prophecy for last week was a Blake Barnett rushing touchdown. That did not happen. He had 3 rushes for 3 yards with a long of 4. However that math works out, some sacks and stuff included there, I think, tackle for a loss, whatever it was. Chef had Lincoln Cure going 5 for 55 with a touchdown. He was a 0 for 0 with 0 touchdowns. And Matt had Gunnar Maldonado with 1 interception, 1 quarterback sack on a blitz, and 2 pass breakups. He finished that game with 3 tackles, 0 interceptions, and of course, 0 sacks. He also has 0 sacks in his career. I'm not sure where that one came from, but I'm going to let Matt cook on the next video. My player prophecy for this week is going to be a Desmond Purnell interception, because the last time K-State played TCU in 2023, Des came away with an interception on Josh Hoover himself. So we're going to throw it back to 2023 with my player prophecy. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and send it over to the other guys. If you're making it out to homecoming this weekend, be sure to stop by Auntie May's. Tell them Cocaine Willie sent you. Purchase one of our Wildcat Country Let's Ride koozies. And that'll do it. I'm going to throw it over to Matt and Chef.
Hey, everybody. This is Fireball Matt here with the Cocaine Willie podcast, here to provide you with my Week 7 locks for this upcoming slate of college football games this weekend. Now, just want to remind everybody, or we talked through last week's picks. I had a really good week last week. I was 4-1. My wins were KU covering at UCF 5.5, TCU with that last second touchdown to cover 13.5 at home against Colorado, Alabama beating up on Diego Pavia and Vandy, and Clemson just killing Bill Belichick's UNC team. I did lose the Iowa State game last week. They were 1.5 point underdogs at Cincinnati and kind of played like it. So here this week to try and get back to a 5-0 record for locks. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my Big 12 picks for this week. I am going to start first with Cincinnati. So Cincinnati is hosting UCF in a matchup of teams that used to be in the American Conference. I think this is the first time they're playing in a little bit. So, but anyway, Cincinnati, they've been playing really, really well. They're 10.5 point favorites against UCF this weekend. I think Cincinnati is going to cover the 10.5 at home and beat up on the Knights. My second game is going to be BYU. So BYU going on the road to Tucson to play Arizona. BYU is a 1.5 point favorite. They have looked really, really good this season. And I think they're going to go on the road and beat the Wildcats. And then my last Big 12 game, unfortunately, is going to be the K-State game. TCU, 1.5 point favorite on the road against our Wildcats. I think TCU is going to cover the 1.5. They're going to win in Manhattan this weekend. I just think TCU's offense has been so strong this year. And while I do think it is going to be an offensive type game, if you listen to my preview, I thought TCU was going to win 38-34. And so I think TCU is going to cover the 1.5 in Manhattan. National game of the week. There's a few good games kind of looking at the slate. But there's one in particular that caught my eye. It's happening in the Big Ten, and it's the Oregon Ducks. They're hosting Indiana in a top 10 matchup up in Eugene. Oregon's a 6.5 point favorite at home. I think they're going to cover that 6.5. I think they're going to end up winning by like 10 to 14 points against Indiana. But Oregon going to cover 6.5 at home. And then my sicko game of the week. So I have to keep going and rolling with UNT, University of North Texas, the Mean Green. They are hosting USF, number 24 team in the country. They're hosting South Florida in Denton this weekend. UNT is a 1.5 point underdog at home. It's going to be a Friday night game. I think it's going to be a huge game for UNT. I think they're going to win the game and get a top 25 win at home, which is crazy to think about for North Texas. That hasn't happened probably in who knows how long. But I'm going to go with the Mean Green yet again for my sicko game of the week. And then the last thing, did want to do my player prophecy for this TCU game. Last week, my player prophecy, Gunnar Maldonado, thought he was going to have a pick, thought he was going to have a quarterback sack, a couple of pass block attempts. Only had 3 tackles in that game. Didn't look too good. So I got to get some type of player prophecy here versus TCU. And my player prophecy is actually going to be kind of like a position group prophecy. But I'm going to go 3 tight end touchdowns in this game against TCU. So I think our tight ends total are going to have 3 touchdown catches in this game at home, even though the Cats might lose. At least that's what I think. Tight ends will have a big day getting some passes from Avery Johnson. So those are going to be my week 7 locks for this week and my player prophecy. I mean, obviously I hope the Cats win, but we'll see if my locks go 5-0 this week. Everybody have a great week and go Cats.
Boom. This is tough. After going 0-5 last week, the bag is feeling heavy on your boy. I can't seem to shake this bag, but we press on because we're not giving up. It's only week 7. I feel like we can make a turnaround. Last week was pretty yuck in terms of picks. Colorado got backdoored covered. That was tough. Iowa State, I mean, they tried to battle back, but they never stood a chance. They were down big early. That was a bad pick by me. BYU, what is West Virginia doing? How are they fighting? The time that I need them to fail, they want to show a little bit of fight versus BYU. I'll never forgive you, West Virginia. Florida State, they tried to get back in it, but yet again, another team getting handled. Florida State, stinky poo-poo. And then Navy. I mean, what is Navy doing? 11.5 was a big number. I guess in hindsight, that should have never really been a pick. But, man, Navy, you failed me too. So 0-5 last week. I don't recommend following what I'm doing here, but I've got a feeling that this week will be a lot better because it can't get any worse, to be honest. So here's how we start. And maybe this isn't a good sign for, what K-State's going to be this weekend versus TCU, but I've got them plus 1.5. At home, I think, K-State is not sold out yet. They're not giving up. The coaching staff, they might hold them back and they might have them on a collar and a leash that can reel them back from what their true potential could be. But I think this is a week that they can get it done and they'll beat TCU. I got TCU losing by 2 points to K-State. So hammer the money line if you want on K-State, but I'll take the 1.5 points. And then we got Tech. I think Tech is the real deal. I had them going undefeated from the jump of the season. I really had a hard time finding out where Tech was going to lose this season. Now they're 14.5 point favorites versus the Jayhawks at home. That's a really good line, but I honestly think Tech has been mollywhopping everybody this season. I don't remember the last close game they've had, and I don't think KU is going to be able to keep it within 14.5. So yeah, give me Tech 14.5 point favorites at home. I think that's easy. I mean, the Jayhawks just no match. And then this is a spooky line. Maybe I'm not catching what's going on in terms of the injury front. But Arizona State, maybe I need to take some, medicine from last week where I took Iowa State as a plus ranked dog on the road. But this one's even worse. I mean, Arizona State's 5.5 point dogs versus Utah. I just don't understand how that could be possible. Give me Arizona State plus 5.5. I think Arizona State, they have winning pedigree. Dampier for Utah, not that impressive to me. And I think he's a little banged up. Give me Arizona State and the Sun Devils plus 5.5. I mean, where is that coming from? All right, the national game. There wasn't a lot of selection. I mean, I could have gone Red River, but I think Texas is a big stinky pile of poo-poo, and they're not very good. But Oklahoma's also got some injury concern on their end. I wasn't going to touch that line. So I went Bama Mizzou, and Bama minus 3.5 is calling my name. I know Missouri probably has one of the better defensive lines in the SEC, but they're untested. And as much as we want to give Bama crap, they've gone through some whirling dervishes of games. Georgia on the road, they had Vanderbilt. I mean, it's not your mom and your dad and your older brother's Vanderbilt. This is a new era of Vanderbilt football, and I think that was a good win. So going into Columbia, I have no issues with Bama doing anything, and I think that line is appropriate. I think they could probably win. They probably win by a touchdown, but minus 3.5, I'll take that. Give me Bama. DeBoer's going to have them rolling pretty soon. Yeah, I like Bama there. Roll Tide. My sicko game. This is truly sick right here. Oregon State, 0-6 this season. This is the time where they get off that schneid. I think you need to hammer the money line here. Wake Forest traveling across the country after getting ripped. I think that was 2 weeks ago, but either way, they've gone through some heartbreak this season. Oregon State's 2.5-point dogs at home. Give me the Beavs to get off of the schneid, hammer the money line. Oregon State wins this game. Chalk it up. Give me Oregon State and the Beavs. I like that. I'm ready to take this bag off. So if Matt and Bob want to, do the honors and take this bag off of my head, so be it. Subscribe to Cocaine Willie. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our locks episode. We do want to just give one final shout out to our sponsor, Anti-Maze Parlor. Go to antimaze.com for a full list of their upcoming events. And if you're stopping by, be sure to tell them Cocaine Willie sent you. And then additionally, we are the K-State representative on the College Huddle, which is the largest community of fan-driven content in the nation. Check them out at thecollegehuddle.com and follow them on social media at College Huddle. And last but not least, you can follow our show at Cocaine Willie on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere you can find social media, or follow us individually. I'm at Bob Trollsby. Chef is at Chef Andre Napier, and Fireball Matt is at Matt Marchesini. We're all Coke and no joke, Wildcat Country. Let's ride.